I am Thomas, a Salesian here in Rome at Borgo Ragazzo Don Bosco. We are going to enter the third part of animating and governing the community, the ministry of the Salesian Rector. The Rector and the shared Salesian Mission, a heart as great as the sands on the seashore. We have the first words from the General Counselor for Youth Ministry, Father Miguel Angel Garcia. Father Miguel Angel, the third part begins with the chapter on the educative pastoral community, a familiar term in our Salesian vocabulary. Could you help us grasp the significance behind these words to go to the heart of this reality as it is perceived today?
The answer is already within the question you asked me, Thomas. To go to the heart, what is the EPC? The EPC is a heart that gives life, that animates the whole system of the Salesian present in its context. This is how we were born. This is how life was in the Don Bosco's first oratory, where he made the young people the protagonists, as Pope Francis reminds us when he wrote the 28th General Chapter. The General Chapter 24 is a chapter that gave that great prominence to this heart, defining the EPC as a group of people, youngsters and adults, parents and educators, religious and lay, representatives of the ecclesial and civil institutions, including also those belonging to the other religions, men and women of goodwill who work together for the education and evangelization of the young, and especially those who are poorer. The frame of reference for youth ministry reminds us that EPC is a Salesian way of living, the Salesian way of implementing and organizing a Salesian ministry, rather than a new structure or a kind of management or organization. If already in General Chapter 24, it was clear that this is the only practical model in the present conditions, we see it all the more today. It is evident that this is the way forward in order to make the preventive system the gift that Don Bosco is for the young and for everyone alive and life-giving also today.
This means that we are called to educate and evangelize together as one body, and this requires a change of mentality in the people involved and in our approach to the work.
The EPC requires participation, co-responsibility, teamwork, sharing of values, also criteria and common goals within a shared plan. A community that at the same time educates and also learns. If this is the case, then the relations between diverse vocations of lay people, religious, and priests are inspired by mutual esteem, dialogue, and respect. In the educative pastoral action, this trust often gives rise to the positive collaboration and involvement with promising results. And don't forget, Tommaso, young people are active subjects and protagonists, and they grow while they share our Salesian mission.
The witness of communion is so important in reaching out to the young people today.
Definitely so. With various gifts in the diversity of our EPCs need to find a way to become one. Co-responsibility is a result and the means of being the church.
Nicoletta, for several years now, you have been working and living with young people so dear to Don Bosco's heart, those who encounter the greatest difficulties. Could you help us to have a deeper insight into this reality?
Borgo is a complex reality. It requires a very careful and detailed coordination. There are 3 different APCs. The APC of the Oratory Center of Youth Aggregation, the APC of the Vocational Training Center, and the APC for youth at risk, taking care of the youngsters experiencing harder difficulties, to which we have finally changed the name and baptized as Growing New Wings, to indicate precisely that takes care of relaunching and making the youngsters in greater difficulties able to fly again. These 3 APCs work like concentrate circles with areas of autonomy and areas of overlap. so that all three together make up the one big APC of Borgo Ragazzi Don Bosco.
In the text, at 121, there is a quote from Vadavecchi, which is also part of the text of General Chapter 25. What does it mean by animating nucleus? It is a group of people who identify themselves with the Salesian Mission, educational system, and spirituality, and together take up the task of assembling, motivating, and involving all those who are concerned with the work, so as to form with them the educative community and to carry out a plan for the evangelization and education of the young. Does it correspond to the picture of those who animate the Borgo Ragazzi Don Bosco?
Having a clear idea of what is meant by an animating nucleus is fundamental for us here at the Borgo. Imagine these three large APCs, these three groups of people, 10 trainers, about 15 animators plus a family, 10 psychologists and educators who work together and who have the task of keeping together, motivating and solidly involving all the rest of the APC. That is adults, young people, volunteers doing social service, families, foster families, companies, institutional figures, people of other religions, all the people, men and women of goodwill who want to make themselves available to our young people. Imagine then what a priceless resource such togetherness of people is, and how it has to be cared for, supported, and promoted with a strong sense of purpose.
At last, we meet a Salesian rector face to face, not just in the pages of the text. He is also my rector, Father Daniele Merlini. The text has a special qualification for us Salesians. We are called to the charismatic point of reference. How can we interpret this mandate starting from where we are in Borgo Ragazzi Don Bosco?
It is clear that as Salesians, as religious, we are part of the animating nucleus together with other lay people who embrace this mission, this spirituality, and we are asked to be first and foremost this charismatic point of reference, which means being Don Bosco today here in this part of the world, this part of Rome, in the outskirts of Rome. The laity themselves ask us to be so. It means to make sure that the pastoral impulse, for instance, here at the Borgo Ragazzi Don Bosco, moves along the lines given by Don Bosco, that of the young, especially the poorest. And the laity ask us to do this. They tell us to give direction because it is we who receive this tradition and want to carry it forward. We live it as living witness, so much so that even our living together is the first charismatic witness that we give to the whole community and the laity. Here we have many professionals within the Borgo Ragazzi Don Bosco, many trained lay people, professional educators, psychologists, social workers, many volunteers who have lived here for a long time. But everyone asks that the true specialist of the preventive system and charism be the Salesians. A great strength in a pastoral educative community as the one of the Borgo and of the animating nucleus is the mutual recognition of the different vocations, the complementarity in living one's own vocation, religious to the priestly ministry, to family life as layperson, vocation to the service of the young. In this way, we may offer to children and young people who enter our environment a living experience, a complete experience, because each young person has points of reference to refer to and to compare themselves with.
For the young people who live the pre-novitiate experience, being Borgo the pre-novitiate for the province, what does this mean to live a year in this educative pastoral community?
The young people who come to do their pre-novitiate year here at Borgo Ragazzi Don Bosco meet with a community that is undoubtedly complex, varied, and with the diverse vocations that this community expresses. It is beautiful to see how they can walk and confront themselves with the laity, with their family vocation, with the women who are also in top positions in our organization. Well, with everyone, there is this exchange of experience, and the religious community lives of this kind of sharing, as well as the pre-novices who come to live with us. Living this communion, which is not always so easy, has its own challenges and dynamics, but it is possible. It is possible through mutual acceptance and by working together with a clear underlying idea that we share a mission. A beautiful mission given to us by the Lord through Don Bosco, that of being educators and evangelizers of young people, especially the poorest.
We take a step further into the EPC with the help of Renato, who grew up here at Borgo Ragazzi, later becoming a member of the Youth Ministry Department. He is the father of Irene and Emanuele. He now works in Brussels at Don Bosco International, the office that represents the Salesians of Don Bosco at the European Union. Renato, an acronym that accompanies EPCs, is SEP, the Salesian Pastoral Educational Plan. Few people in the world have known and accompanied so many educative pastoral plans as you have done. Can you help us to decode the SEP?
I believe that the right point of view to understand the SEP is this very courtyard, with its children, educators, and Salesians. The SEP is what makes the difference between this courtyard and what you might encounter in a square outside. Here, with patience, we tune ourselves together. That is, our hearts are in tune and together oriented towards the same goal. Although each one moves at his own pace and speed, there is a common direction in which we are all walking, and each one plays his part. It is these faces, these concrete people with their own stories. Together they work to make the most of the gifts that as children, young people, adults, the elderly, we have to share. So to nurture and make the life of everyone in this environment to keep growing. What happens at the level of the Salesian presence, like here at Borgo Ragazzi, it is as well what we encounter with due proportion in planning at the provincial level, and ever broader spheres for plans that are regional, continental, or even worldwide in scope. The SEP is not so much a document, but rather a process that is done together, with the sharing of energies and talents in favor of the young and their salvation. A word so frequently used by Don Bosco. It is an energy of communion between people of different cultures, ages, and not infrequently of diverse religious beliefs. It becomes a formidable prophecy of communion and youth mission for the church and the world.
Renato, if you had to express in an ID card sketch the most important features of the Salesian Educational Pastoral Plan, which one would you choose?
First of all, I think that SEP is a part of constant community discernment. It is to listen to reality and to the voice of the Spirit, to grow together. It is a process in which the EPC recognizes together the signs of the times, interprets them, and finally makes choices, continuing to verify them periodically, so that today's young people may be better than yesterday's and tomorrow's better than today's.
Last chapter, an open community. I have asked Father Miguel Angel, Nicoletta, Father Daniele, and Renato for a final word on this title and image.
The more we are open to the richness of the many vocations of the people who together share the same mission and educational passion of Don Bosco, the more our common roots become strong, and the more we open up together paths towards the future. It is in the communion among vocations within the universal breath that Don Bosco's charism has that we succeed in being and giving the best of ourselves in the church among the young for the world.
The social context is the place where our young people and their families live and grow. The institutions are the ones who should take care of them. The Salesian presence in such a place acts as a mediator. It opens a door within a path that puts the needs of our young people in contact with the institutions, the emerging needs with the associations and bodies that can care for them, memoranda of understanding, working groups, agreements, conventions, are all tools we have at our disposal to put our young people back at the center of social, family, and city politics.
Since the beginning, Borgo Ragazzi Don Bosco has truly been the church's open door to the whole city of Rome and to all the situations of need of the poor young people of Rome, the shoe shiners, shusha, and orphans of war. Here, the Church of Rome has really paid a lot of attention, starting with Monsignor Giovanni Battista Montini, then Paul VI, now a saint. A lot of attention to ensuring that this remained an open door, a safe door, a welcoming door, a family for so many young people. And I think that each of our communities, we Salesians, if we remain such an open door for all young people in difficulty, we will truly be a great, powerful sign of a young church that speaks, dialogues, welcomes the needs of young people.
For me, Don Bosco has never before been such a great gift to the world and to young people than he is today. First of all, because there has never been such a large number of young people in the world, most of them so similar in condition to those who were poorest, to whom he dedicated himself entirely. If we are able to tune in, to work and dream together as people who recognize themselves in the gift and charism of Don Bosco, educator and pastor, not only will we find doors open in so many different human contexts, at all spaces, but we will be able to be the ones to open the doors of the future to so many young people who are looking for those who believe in them and are willing to walk alongside them, today even more than in the past.